Good day, my name is Jonathan Jackson. Today I'll be showing you and presenting my GRE tunnel lab. So before we begin, let me just explain what GRE is. So GRE stands for Generic Routing Encapsulation. So this is a protocol for encapsulating data packets that use one routing protocol inside the packets of another protocol. This is where you get encapsulated. So encapsulating, it means wrapping one data packet within another data packet. It's almost like putting a box inside another box. GRE is one way to set up a direct point-to-point connection across a network for the purpose of simplifying connections between separate networks. It works with a variety of network layer protocols. However, it should be noted that GRE supports unicast communication only. So the purpose of this experiment I'm going to be showing you today is to determine if one can use a GRE tunnel to receive DHCP at the other end of the tunnel. And we'll also have a client machine join a domain via the tunnel. So this is my diagram. This is what we're going to be using here today. So on the left-hand side in the blue, we have a CentOS 9 virtual machine. This is my server that has the Samba domain as well as DNS and DHCP. It has a network of 192.168.190.10. And on the right-hand side is my client PC. Like I said, I'm going to be sending DHCP to this client PC. So originally it had a same network, the 192.168.200, but it was .10 instead of 100. So once it received DHCP, it got 100. So in the middle, we have the GRE tunnel in the middle of router 1 and router 4. I used tunnel 10 for the interface, and on the left-hand side, it has an IP of 20.20.20.1, and on the right-hand side is .2. For all four routers, I used a 10.10.10.10.0/30 network. So router 1 has a .1, router 2 has a .2 IP for this interface, and then for the middle interface has a router 2 has a .5, router 3 has a .6 IP, and the last interface, the routers, router 3 has a .9, 10.9, and router 4 has a .10 IP. So that's what we're going to be using today. So let me hop into my commands that I inputted in all four routers. So router 1, first thing I did was bring up the interface, and I did that on all routers before I added any other commands. So I brought up both interfaces. I added the IP addresses. I gave, as I showed just now, all of the IPs. And before I even did the tunnel, I made sure to put all the IPs first on every interface. And after that, I started up setting the tunnel. I gave it IP/30. So let me explain what these commands do for the tunnel. So the tunnel interface, that's the interface of the tunnel. So I called it tunnel 10. Just following I have a .10 here, and it was .10 earlier, so just put .10 for that. Right, so tunnel source. This is the local interface or IP the tunnel will originate from. Tunnel destination is the remote router's IP to form the GRE tunnel. So this will be router 4, and well, this obviously we're in router 1 still, so the tunnel destination will be router 4, which is on the other side of the diagram. Tunnel mode GRE IP. This specifies the GRE over IP, and then I also put a IP OSPF cost to be 1, and this just basically it controls the OSPF route preference. So the lower the cost it is, the more preferred the path will be. So on router 1 and 4, I put a cost of 1. And you'll see afterwards when I scroll down, I put a cost of 100 on router 2 and 3. So this means that the GRE tunnel will be the preferred way of sending across DHCP as well as being able to join a domain. Then no shutdown, this activates the tunnel. Afterwards, I ran OSPF on all 4 routers. And lastly, I added a static route. So this static route, this static route, it basically just to reach the tunnel destination. So in this case, this would be um, router 4's physical IP, and that will be the path to reach that. So let's move on to router 2. Same exact things. I brought up the interfaces, added IPs, and right, and I put the cost to be 100, as I mentioned earlier. Same thing again, and then I ran OSPF on it. Same thing for router 3, exact same stuff. And now let's head on to router 4. Exact same things as earlier. Brought up the interfaces, added the IPs, and this is the second tunnel. So it's the exact same commands, just in reverse. So this is the IP address for this side, the right-hand side of the tunnel. Tunnel destination, this would be R1, and well, the source will be R4. The cost, as I mentioned, will be 1. And then I added OSPF on the router. And then this will be the static route to the other side of the tunnel, which would be router 1 side. So once you finish all of that, now it's time to head into my CentOS VM. So in here, I'll just show you quickly how to install and configure DNS, DHCP, as well as set up Samba. Now, you don't have to use CentOS, but I already had these things set up previously, so I just made some changes to suit the new IPs. I think Windows, let's say a Windows Server 2019 or something would be easier to set up, but as I said, for convenience, I already had this up and running. So let's just go through these commands quickly. The first thing you want to do is install bind. Bind is the name of the service for DNS. So it's called bind because you're literally binding a name to an IP address. So you just sign into root and then DNF install bind utils. That's the download bind. Before I even say all that, just make sure you have an internet connection. Otherwise, you won't be able to set up any of these things. So just make sure you're on either NAT or bridged. You can go into your VM and yeah, either bridged or NAT and set one of those things up, and then you should be good to go. So once you have that installed, you just start the service, enable it, and then check the status. And after that, we go into the meat of DNS. So I'll just show you my configs, what it is. Okay, so this is where you have to make the changes. So this is the local host, and then you have to add the IP of your machine. So this will be the DNS server. This is the IP address of my CentOS VM. So you add that there. And then down here, I put allow query any. So if I look in my notes earlier, I had the same exact network. Now the reason I changed it to any is so that I can receive queries from other networks outside of my own. Once you make those changes, just make sure recursion is on yes. And then down here, I added include name RCF files, and I'll show you that right now. You save and exit the file. Now we're going to add these zones. So scroll all the way down, and then these are the zones I created. So one for forward, and then one for reverse. This is what it looks like. So all of these things, it's way I'm going to show you right now how to create these files. So yeah, you add in this file here, this path, but it doesn't actually exist just yet. So you have to go and create it. So save that and exit. So now we're going to this will create the forward zone. This is what my forward zone looks like. I just added a bunch of A records. So now let's head into the reverse file. Right, so this is what it looks like. Not many records, but these are some PTR records, and this is really all you need. Yeah, you don't need anything too serious in there. Just make sure you have your record the for your machine itself. Okay. So once you do that, you just set the correct permissions, and then you can check the DNS configuration. You just use this command. If nothing, when you use it, if nothing comes up, you're fine. That means the configuration is good. If it's not good, it will show you exactly where the error is. You do the same thing here. You can check the both files, so both forward and reverse files. Right, so these two. And after you made all those changes, restart named and then enable it. And then after that, we just add the service to the firewall. So yeah, the commands to do all that, and you reload the firewall at the end. And then you can go into your resolve.conf conf file, and you add these two lines. In my case, well, the IP is a bit different. So yeah, just change the suit. And then we can actually test your DNS configuration. So you can do the dig command to test the forward zone. You just put dig and then your IP and then the name of your DNS, and it should come up with an answer. And to test the reverse zone, dig/x and then the IP. And then you can test it on your client. So let me test this now. Dig/90, this is what it looks like. So you'll see one answer over here. And then you'll see the answer section. So you have the DNS and the IP itself. Then you can do a dig-x. And the same thing, you get an answer. This is what it looks like. This is reverse zone. And then you get the this itself. So then you can test on the client. So you can just write ls lookup. Let's just go and do that now. Let's do a ls lookup. So this is what it looks like. If your DNS is working, this is what will come up. If it doesn't work, it will say DNS timed out or something. So, right, so those are the commands for that. Now for the DHCP. This is how you install the DHCP. Then once you do that, you can go on to this file and I'll show you how to set up the DHCP. So I'll actually tell you exactly the layout of it. So you have to copy paste what you find in there and then paste it into this file. So you go into this file. This is the DHCP.conf file, and then this is what the DHCP looks like. So as I mentioned earlier, my client is getting DHCP. So you put the subnet of the client and the net mask, and then you put the desired range for your IPs. So I put a 200.100 for it, up to 150. You literally just put whatever you want. Option domain server. So this will be your DNS. That is the DNS I'm using. And then option routers. This will be the router. So now we close this, save it and close it. Then you start the service, enable it, and then check its status. And you can add the service to the firewall. You reload the firewall, and you can do this command firewall cmd -- list all, and it'll bring up all of the services that you have on your firewall already. And then to check if you actually got DHCP on your client, you just go on the client and do an IP config /all, and it will show you right there IP address, IPv4 address, and I got the first one, 200.100. Okay, you have the gateway, and then you have the DHCP server, and then DNS as well. So to actually get DHCP, you go on your network and internet settings, go into change adapter options, right click on Internet 2 or whatever you have here, go into properties, go into IPv4 settings, and then you have to click, I believe this is on by default, obtain an IP address automatically. So you need to put that and then use the following DNS server address. This is my DNS. Then you click OK, and you should be good with that. Then to check it back, you can just once again go back on command prompt and you do an ipconfig slash all, and you will see all the information you need there. So now I'm just going to show you how to set up Samba really quick. So you just install all the packages with this command, and then we go into samba.conf file, SMB, sorry. And this is where you're going to be setting up your domain. I mean, sorry, not domain, your work group. So yeah, the first thing you want to do is go on the global, and the work group will be whatever name that you pick. In my case, I just put John. So security will be user. This means that this just sets the security mode. So you put in user, it means it requires the user to authenticate with a valid username and password before it can access shares. Domain master equals yes. This makes the Samba server the domain master. Domain logons. This enables NT style domain logons. So this is when you want Windows clients joining this domain. Local master, yes, and preferred master, yes. This just helps Samba win the elections to become the local browse master. So it controls name list and shares for the subnet. Now this is a very important piece of code. This was what I was missing. So earlier I was getting some issues. This one specifically, where it basically couldn't find my domain because it was saying it's like unavailable, even though a few months ago it was working fine. I guess because I ended up making some changes afterwards. Yeah, maybe I removed it or something. So just make sure you have that piece of code. This basically enables Win server functionality. So it allows the NetBIOS name resolution across subnets. So basically, this is essential for GRE tunnels and like routed networks. So the next one is this piece of code here. This uses the TDB database to store Samba user accounts, the data for them. Admin users root, so this grants add administrative privileges on shares to the root user. These two commands, so these are used the ID map config. So this is used for mapping Linux users to Windows SIDs. So it's important when integrating with Windows and Windows clients, especially since that's what we're doing. So we're using Windows as our client. And then the range, it just defines the mapping space. Logon path, this disables roaming profiles, so Windows won't try to load user profiles from the server. And then logons script, this one. This specifies a batch file to run when a domain user logs in. So usually sets the drives or the printers. This file must exist in the logon share, which I will show you just now. And the last line, it's a script to automatically add machine accounts when a Windows PC joins the domain, sorry. And the percentage U, this is the machine name. So it adds the machine as a system user with no shell or home directory. So now we just scroll down. So in homes, put browsable, yes, yes, writable, guest, okay, read only, no. So the users see it in File Explorer so they can write on it. Um, this basically just defines a user home directory. Printers, well, we won't be using printers or anything like that, but it just enables printing and it hides the browsable, no, hides the share from casual browsing, so you won't find that. Now, net logon. Let me see something. So it hosts files like logon.bat, like I showed you earlier. Admin users root, so root users can modify it, and then we allow guests as well. Now the profile section, this is important. So this creates um, a directory mask. So let me see this. It sets file and folder permissions. Also, okay, yeah, sorry. No, that's it. And the last thing we have, this is for Samba sharing. So this is just an additional step. Basically, only I set it up so only SMB user one can access it. You can write and it's visible in the Explorer. So that's it for Samba. SMB, sorry. Right, here are some explanations if you pause the video and just read it. So once you're done, you do test parm. This will test to see if the configurations are actually fine. If there's any mistakes, it will tell you. Next thing I want to do is make directories. So we're making these two directories, the netlogon and profiles. And then we add in users. So a user that I added was SMB user one. And this next thing after that you do is create machine accounts for the Windows environment. So you use the group add command and 200 machines. So that's the machine. Then you set a password. Yeah, my Windows machine is called Win10 client. And then if you mess up or make a mistake, this command, it erases the machine. Next, we're going to make a Samba account for the client PC. So a root, so I made root and SMB user. And then we're going to start, enable, and check the status of SMB and NMB. You'll probably see red lines for NMB. Like, let me just show you. And that's fine. It will just say, yeah, Samba server Jonathan is now a domain browser, domain master for the workgroup John. And then it's on the subnet that we're using. Basically, that's it. So if you see those red lines, it's fine. Lastly, you just want to add the services to the firewall. So here are the commands for all of that. And you want to add all of these ports. There's a lot, so take your time. You can mass add all of these. So just copy paste everything and just add it all at once and it should be fine. And then reload the firewall once it's done. The last thing you want to do is the SE Linux configuration. So you just add in policies to the Samba domain. SE Linux, secure Linux. Sometimes it can cause trouble, so you can disable it using this command. No, sorry. Well, you can use setting force 0 to temporarily disable it, or you can go into the actual configs, and if it's set to enforce it, you just change it to disabled, and then you reboot the server. So all the changes can apply. The last thing you'd want to do is set the hosts on CentOS and on the client. So gedit hosts. So this is what it looks like. You have the machine name and then the IP address. To view your name, you just put host name CTL and it'll set it. And if you want to set a username, not username, host name, you can use this command. Once you've done that, it's time to go over to the Windows side. And basically, you just want to open Notepad as an administrator and then open files and search for this part. So let me just do this really quickly. Go on File, Open, and well, mine is already on the part. You just go down to Text Document, put all files, and then this, you double click, and then this is what it looks like. So you just add this line, Jonathan, that's the host name that I'm using, and then the IP address for my server. So then you just save this, make sure it's saved, and then exit. The next thing I have to do is actually just join the domain itself. So back then I got an error because I had to go and well, it wasn't finding the well, not finding, I couldn't join the domain itself. So I had to go into the registry edit. I'm not going to actually show it here. I'm just going to show you the commands because it's a bit tedious. This is just what you're looking for. So you look for this location, you go into system, current control set, service, layman workstation, parameters, and then you create in two new dword entries. One is called domain capability mode, and then you set the bit to 1, and then the next one, DNS name resolution required, and you put that to 0. And once you do that, you should be able to join. And as you can see, I was able to actually join this. And right, that's something else. So right, so that's it. Now one last thing I did was go into advanced and just make sure you have everything set correctly. Make sure the gateways, proper gateway, DNS, this will already be set. Main thing you have to do, well, that I had to do was add my server under Wins. So I added my CentOS server in Wins, and then I click OK, OK again, and then okay once again. And then I was able to join my domain. So let's just show you how to do that. You just go on system properties, just about your PC. So well, I already joined the domain itself. So this is what it will look like once you join the domain. So you'll have your name and the domain at the end. Scroll down all the way to advanced system settings. You go on computer name. So this is actually how you change the name of your computer. Um, to join a work group with domain, just go down here. That's you put the computer name and then the domain you want to join. Well, I'm already in this domain, so I'll just show you afterwards. But before we even do all of that, let's try the tracert command. So this will actually test to see if our GRE tunnel is working. And actually, well, spoiler alert, it is working. That's the reason I'm able to get DHCP. So it'll just take a little while. But once it's loading, while it's loading, I can actually do, let me see. I can actually test the trace route on this side as well. So on Linux, it's trace route instead of trace cert. It will take a little while. So, right. So this is what it looks like when the GRE tunnel is active and it's using it. It will go from 192.168.200 at one. So this would be on this side. We'll start off on router 4. It will go into 20.20.20.1, which is the left side of the tunnel. And then it will access Jonathan. So that's my CentOS server, which is all the way, which is all the way down here on the left side. So it jumped from here to here, all the way to my CentOS machine. And then if we go and check on the CentOS side, we get the same thing. So well, same thing, but opposite direction. So we start off on the CentOS side, and then we have 20.20.20.2, which would be on this side. So we went from here, we jumped to here. Sorry, we went from this, the dot one, on this interface, and we jumped from here, and then we go all the way to Windows client. And that's what it shows. So with that, we can confirm for sure that my client is receiving DHCP from my CentOS machine. So the last thing we're going to test and see is if I can join a domain. Well, actually, once again, spoiler alert, it's already joined. So let me just do this, switch user. Let's just go down here. So in my case, it's already prompted me to sign in to my domain. So let me just, I'm so sorry for the background noise, by the way. So we go SMB user 1. This is the user that I created earlier. And then you put the password. Then you hit join. And now you pray that it actually joins. So earlier, it takes a little while to actually join. So let's just wait and see. Right, and that looks like a success to me. Let's just check and make sure that it is a success once it's loading. It's a bit It's running a bit slow, so just wait and see. Oh yeah, this is a perfect point for it to stick. What happened here is when um I didn't input the cost, IP OSPF cost 1 and 100 on the routers. So earlier, my GRE, it was working, but it was not the preferred route. So this is what it looks like when it's not the preferred route. It jumps from all four routers and then it goes to your destination. This is what it looks like, um, right, when it doesn't work. If I try it again, you'll see. You'll see when it comes up. So let me just, while that's loading, let me just go on about your PC. And yeah, so we can see that for sure we are on our domain. If you just go and check, I'm definitely signed in to my SMB user one. And right, now that it's updated, you can see the two different configs. So this is when GRE wasn't working. This is when it is working. So with that, that will complete my video presentation for today. Thanks for watching. I hope the video helps and was useful.